So this one exercise is related to balancing. You can use mic, chat, or screen annotation to answer. We did the first 20 questions, so starting with page, we did the first 20 pages. We're starting with page 21. Use a copy of a periodic table. Answer this. You can use a periodic table. Here, periodic table is shown. Barium oxide. What will the formula of barium oxide? Yeah, barium oxide.
BaO.
So how you identify barium is a group 2 plus 2 and oxygen belongs to group 6 minus. We simplify the valency and the simplest ratios of barium oxide will be here. Boron oxide. A boron is a group 3. What is the formula of boron oxide?
Sir,
Boron is only B, not Ba. So it will be B2 and O3. When the valencies are not same, we just simplify the valency and cross multiply, but it cannot be further simplified, so we cross multiply. Then give a formula of the following ions. Sulfide ion. Sulfide ion, not sulfur. Sulfide ion. So means this is sulfur, belongs to group 6. So we need the sulfide ion. So it will be, because belongs to group 6, it will take 2 electrons. Gallium ion. You can use a periodic table. So what will the formula? A group 4 element. Sorry, group 3 element, not 4, group 3. Yeah. So it will be Ga3 plus or plus. So you can write here Ga3 plus or plus 3, and here sulfur was minus. Next question. The ions that are involved in electrolysis are aluminum and oxide. Write an equation for cathode. Which ion will move towards cathode? Is it aluminum or oxygen?
sir, aluminium.
Aluminum, because it's a positive ion. So when aluminum ion will move there, it will gain 3 electrons plus a charge, and it is turned into aluminum atom. What is this change? Oxidation or reduction?
Sir, oxidation.
No, reduction. Because it gain electron. And you can identify like charge plus 3 becomes 0. So the charge has reduced. So if a charge is reduced, that is reduction. And at cathode, always reduction happens at cathode. Methylamine is a weak base like ammonia. The methylamine is reacting with sulfuric acid, form methyl ammonium sulfate. Write an equation for reaction between methylamine and hydrochloric acid and name the salt form. Look, they give you the hint. When some questions are a bit tricky, they give you the hint. This is methylamine, okay, and this is reacting with sulfuric acid. As a result, what happened? It will form methyl ammonium sulfate. Now, a methylamine is there. Methylamine is CH3NH2 reacted with hydrochloric acid, HCl. So what will happen? This H will be added here. So it will form CH3, NH3 and Cl. Why there was 2 here? Because the valency of a sulfate was -2. That's why this 2 was written here. But for chloride valency is -1. So that's why we don't need 2 molecules of this. So it will be CH3, NH3, Cl. And what is the name of this? So it will be methyl ammonium chloride. The name of this salt which is formed, that is methyl ammonium chloride. Is it clear, this one? Any doubt in this? Why ammonium? Because those salts which are contain NH3, NH4, these are ammonium salts. Even NH2 is there, ammonium. Look, the first one was methylamine. This was CH3 NH2. This was methylamine. And it was in the question, it was reacting with sulfuric acid, H2SO4. What product they form? They form CH3 NH3 in a bracket 2 SO4. So means what are the ions and what they name this compound? What is the name of the compound? This is carbon is there, so methyl. NH, due to NH group, it is ammonium, and SO4 is there, so sulfate. This is what is given in the question, that it form methyl ammonium sulfate. Now they're saying if the same reaction, a methylamine, was reacting with hydrochloric acid, so what will be the product? So it's the same idea, like sulfuric acid gives sulfate salt, so hydrochloric acid gives chloride salt. So it will form CH3, NH3, and Cl. Why we did not put a bracket here? Because the chloride valency is -1. That's why we did not put a bracket. And what we call this? We call this as a methyl. This part is ammonium, and then it will form a chloride. So it is methyl ammonium chloride. If I say another thing, if I say I have methylamine, methylamine is there and it is reacting with nitric acid, HNO3. What will be the name of, what will the product? So what is the product? Nitrate is -1. Yeah. So it will be CH3, NH3, and then NO3, nitrate. And what is the name of this salt? What is the
Sir,
name of
methyl ammonium nitrate.
methyl ammonium nitrate? So that is what we. Why methyl is there? Meth, because one carbon is there, that's why meth. And because it's an alkyl group, so as a branch is attached, that's why methyl. Ammonium is because of this one. And nitrate is because of NO3. Actually, this compound, this compound is neither ionic, completely ionic, nor covalent. It is a combination. It has both type of bonding. It will have ionic and covalent, both bondings will be there. The next one, complete the equation for combustion of, when we burn ethanol, it gives carbon dioxide and water. You start balancing with carbon combustion equation followed by hydrogen and then other element. So first carbon 2, so you put 2, carbon is balanced. Hydrogen 6, because 5 plus 1, 6. So you have to make hydrogen 6. What number should you put? 3. Hydrogen is balanced. And then oxygen 1 plus 2, 3 here, and 2 multiplied by 2, 4 plus 3, 7. So we have 7 oxygen, because like 3 here and 4 here, 7. So how we, no, 1 is already there. So I need only 6 of them. 1 is already there. So I don't need 7.5. So how to balance this? First whenever you write a combustion equation, first you write like it is burning, reacting with oxygen. So complete combustion give carbon dioxide plus water, H2O. So carbon dioxide plus water is the product form. Now, the second part is the balancing. We start with carbon followed by hydrogen and then other elements. So how many carbon atoms are there? We have 2 carbons, so we put 2, carbon is balanced. Hydrogen 5 plus 1, 6. So we put 3. Hydrogen is also balanced. Now, what about oxygen? This is 2 multiplied by 2, 4 here. And this is 3. So 4 plus 3, total 7 oxygen. 1 is already there. And we have 2. So which number I should multiply? 2 multiplied by 3 makes 6. And 6 plus 1 makes it 7. So this is a balanced equation for a combustion of ethanol. Is it clear?
Yes.
Next, name a reagent can reduce the iron 3 oxide into iron. Means which of the reagent can convert this iron 3 oxide into iron? So what you can mention, this is the same question we did just now when we were solving the paper, last exam paper. So we can use carbon here, we can use carbon monoxide, or we can use any more reactive metal. For example, say you mentioned aluminium. So aluminium is more reactive, so aluminium can also reduce the iron. Any more reactive metal than iron can also be used as a reducing agent. Write a symbol for a reduction of iron 3 oxide to iron. So any equation is acceptable, like reacting with carbon monoxide, reacting with carbon. If I'm using a carbon monoxide as a reducing agent, it will form iron plus carbon dioxide. This is from an equation from a blast furnace. So in which the iron oxide has been reduced to iron by reacting with carbon monoxide. Question 77. Sodium benzoate is a salt and is formed when C6H5COH, like the formula C6H5COH Na. It can be made by benzoic acid with sodium hydroxide. Deduce a formula of benzoic acid. Can you identify from this salt what is the formula of benzoic acid? So what simply we have. Yeah.
C6H5COH.
Yeah. So what we simply do, we will remove this sodium and put a hydrogen. Then it will be a formula of benzoic acid. Write a word equation, not a symbolic, a word equation for reaction of benzoic acid plus sodium hydroxide. So if you have a benzoic acid, continue. You can write benzoic acid plus sodium hydroxide. It is like acid react with an alkali or a base. It will give salt and water. So sodium hydroxide gives water plus sodium benzoate. The salt should also be there. Name two other compounds that could react with benzoic acid to form sodium benzoate. Like sodium hydroxide is one of them. So what we can use, we can use sodium oxide, sodium carbonate can be used. Again, a similar question is there. Like you want to produce a sodium benzoate, you want to produce a salt of sodium. One of the reagent, benzoic acid, was reacting with sodium hydroxide. What else can be used? So you can use sodium oxide, sodium carbonate, sodium metal itself. But practically sodium metal, it's a highly reactive metal, so we don't use it for preparation of the salt. But writing as an answer is acceptable there. Is it clear? Question 77. The ionic equation for a reaction at a negative electrode or a cathode is there. You have to use screen annotation to complete, like how hydrogen gas can be formed in electrolysis. So hydrogen ions take electron, but it should be two hydrogen ion gain two electron and form a hydrogen gas. Ionic equation for a positive electrode, how chlorine can be formed. So chloride ion will lose an electron, form a chlorine. So two chloride ion loses two electron and form a chlorine gas. So even this equation can be written other way around. This equation can be written other way around, like two chloride ion if chlorine plus 2e, that is also fine, but according to the space available, usually they write as a negative. Write an ionic equation for a reaction between tin atom and a silver one ion. Tin is the Sn and silver is +1. Tin is more reactive and tin valency is +2. So Sn +2 will be there and Ag. Then we just have to balance the equation. Why we have to put here and here? Because the idea is that one silver ion take one electron. So two silver ions are needed to take two electrons. Because like tin is losing two electrons and silver has to gain one silver can gain only one. So we need two of them. So whenever you're completing an ionic equation for the metals, for example, if I say a simple example, we have a calcium and it is reacting with copper +2. Or take magnesium and it is reacting with copper +2. Magnesium is more reactive, so more reactive metals tend to lose electrons. So magnesium will lose 2 electrons and copper will gain those 2. So it will form a magnesium ion with a charge of +2 and it will form a copper atom. So here why we did not write 2 here, because the 2 electrons which are lost by magnesium both are gained by the copper. But what if I repeat the same experiment? I say I have a silver ion and I have magnesium. So magnesium is more reactive, it should be +2 and a silver atom will be formed. But the problem here, the equation is not balanced in terms of charge. Like magnesium is losing 2 electrons, but the one silver can gain only 1 electron. So how many silver ions should be there? There should be 2 silver ions to take 2 electrons. And it will form 2 silver atoms. So that's why in this one, we write that's why here we write Sn10 was reacting with the silver ion. How you know the valency of a tin? Actually, because I cropped these equations, but the valency of a tin was given in the question. It was given that tin is +2. So you don't have to memorize that. So it will form tin +2 and Ag atom is there. But because tin is losing 2 electrons, so we need 2 silver ions to take those 2 electrons. The next question is about the thermal decomposition. The hydroxide are heated. If the compound decompose, complete the word equation. If does not decompose, then write no reaction. If we heat potassium hydroxide, what will happen? No reaction, because potassium and sodium hydroxide are stable to heat, does not decompose. If we decompose calcium hydroxide, what is the product? Metal hydroxide on decomposition gives metal oxide plus water. So write a word, you have to complete a word equation. So you have to write the word. These small things are important. Like when you read the question, if it was a symbol, then complete a symbolic equation. So calcium oxide plus water will be there as a product. Complete equation for decomposition of their nitrates. Potassium nitrate is heated. Now this is a symbolic equation. What is the product? When a metal nitrate is heated, so it will form metal nitride plus, no, not potassium oxide. It will be metal nitride. For sodium and potassium on decomposition, when we decompose, it will produce a metal nitride. So it will produce KNO2 plus oxygen. Then balance this equation. So 2 is here, we put 2. So this equation is balanced. But when we heat calcium till copper nitrate, when we heat, it forms metal oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. And then balance the equation. So metal oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. So brown gas is released when we heat or decompose the metal nitrate from calcium till copper. This is related to memorization. Why no reaction in potassium and sodium? Because they are very stable hydroxide we can melt them, but we cannot chemically change them. Chemical change cannot happen. Physical change can happen. Like when you supply heat energy, you can melt the hydroxide, but you cannot chemically change. Complete an ionic equation for this formation of a calcium fluoride. Complete the equation for formation of a calcium fluoride. The calcium is +2 and fluoride is -1, so it will be CaF2. And we need 2 fluoride ions to form this. This is the ionic equation for calcium fluoride. So this was from like till page 23. Remaining we'll do in the next session.